Breaking news! A shocking turn of events that no one anticipated. A player once hailed as one of the most electrifying additions to the Ravens roster vanished before even having a chance to debut. The energy, the expectation, the promise, it all evaporated in the blink of an eye. And now, fans are wondering what really happened behind the scenes. Why did a Pro Bowl talent abandon the sport just when he should have shown? What the Ravens knew and how they handled the situation may be the most underrated play of the entire season. But before we delve into all the details of this surprising turn of events, don't forget to like this post if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting the team. And if you want, comment, "Go Ravens," right now. Let's see how many of us are still with the team, no matter what. Let's dive into this. The saga of Jaire Alexander and the Baltimore Ravens has taken a shocking and emotional turn. Initially, the Ravens' decision to bring in the former Pro Bowl cornerback was met with widespread excitement. It looked like a brilliant move, an already stacked secondary getting even stronger with the addition of a player known for his high-level play and passion on the field. Jaire Alexander wasn't just supposed to contribute, he was expected to shine. When he first arrived in Baltimore, the energy around the facility shifted. Players were feeding off his vibe. Every cornerback who made a play would mimic Alexander's signature celebration. It was clear he made an impact fast, not just on the field, but inside that locker room. Even in a short span, Alexander managed to inject energy into the defense. He was hyped, embracing the moment, showing love to teammates like Lamar Jackson, and soaking in the culture. You could tell he wanted this to work, but then, things just started unraveling. Initially, it was subtle. Alexander was active on game days, but strangely, he wasn't playing. Then, he became inactive altogether. Fans were confused. Coaches stayed quiet. Whispers began to circulate. Why isn't Jaire on the field? Is he hurt? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Then came the trade to the Philadelphia Eagles. For some, it was shocking. For others, it felt inevitable. Something clearly wasn't clicking. Still, there was hope that a fresh start in Philly would reignite his spark. Ravens fans were watching. Some were cheering for him from afar. "Watch him go off for the Eagles now," people were saying. But that spark never came. In fact, things only got murkier. When the Eagles had a Monday night game against the Packers, Alexander wasn't even with the team. The official word? He needed to get right, mentally and physically. And that phrase stuck with fans. Get right for the rest of the season. What does that mean? How far off is he? That wording raised eyebrows and made it clear this wasn't just about football conditioning or picking up the playbook. This was deeper. Then came the bombshell report from Jay Glazer confirming what many feared. Jaire Alexander had decided to step away from football entirely to focus on his health, both mentally and physically. And now, there's even talk that he could retire. That's how serious this has become. The mental toll of this game is no joke. Imagine doing something you've loved your entire life, something you've excelled at, only to realize your mind and body aren't aligned anymore. That internal struggle can break even the strongest spirits. And to Alexander's credit, it takes incredible courage to recognize that you're not okay, and to step away, to prioritize your well-being instead of just pushing through for the sake of appearances. That's not easy. It's powerful. From the Ravens' perspective, this situation could have played out very differently, but their cautious approach paid off. The team signed Alexander to a one-year, incentive-based deal with playing time bonuses. If he played, he got paid. If he didn't, it wouldn't hurt the team financially. Smart management. They never fully committed into game action, which now makes more sense than ever. At the time, it was frustrating to see such talent go unused, but now the picture is clear. The Ravens protected themselves while also giving Alexander the chance. This might be the biggest question now looming over the Ravens community. Is Jaire Alexander truly done with football, or is this just a pause in a story that still has a few chapters left? It's rare to see a player with Alexander's resume and talent step away like this, especially at a time when he should be in the prime of his career. He wasn't brought in as a depth piece. He was brought in to compete, to contribute, to elevate an already elite Baltimore secondary. And based on the energy and culture he helped foster in just a few short weeks, it's obvious he had the locker room's respect. Yet, the signs were there. As fans, we may have missed them, or maybe we just didn't want to believe them. Early confusion over his game day status slowly gave way to a larger realization. Something wasn't right behind the scenes. We've seen this pattern before in the league, where physical injuries are obvious, but the mental struggles remain hidden until it's too late. That's what makes Jaire's decision so important. He didn't let it get to that point. He didn't wait for something to break. He took control, stepped away, and chose healing over headlines. And here's the irony. The Ravens have often been criticized for being too cautious, too safe with their decisions. But in this case, their structured, incentive-heavy contract with Alexander may have been one of their smartest moves this offseason. It wasn't just about cap flexibility or playing time. It was a move that protected the team while still giving the player a shot. The Ravens showed they're willing to take chances, but only when it makes sense, both financially and for team chemistry. Still, this isn't just a story about a roster move. It's a reminder of the human side of football. The pain we don't see, the mental battles that players fight every day. It's easy to cheer when someone's making picks or locking down top receivers, but when the pads come off, these are real people dealing with real life. And right now, Jair Alexander is doing just that. Now let's be clear, this doesn't mean he won't ever return to the field. Plenty of players have stepped away, found themselves, and made comebacks stronger than ever. But it's going to take time. There's no rushing this. And if he never plays another snap, then so be it. Because what he's doing now is bigger than football. Even with all the context we've unpacked, there's still a lingering sense of unfinished business with Jair Alexander's brief Ravens stint. That's what makes this story so haunting for so many fans. We never really got to see what he could have done in this defense. We never saw him line up in a meaningful snap in purple and black. And for a fan base that thrives on gritty, defensive football, that's a tough pill to swallow. The expectations weren't just fan-driven hype either. Coaches were excited. Teammates were buying in. Alexander had an opportunity to work alongside some of the most respected veterans in the league. There was a vision, or role carved out for him. He wasn't some long shot. This was a Pro Bowl level talent with a proven track record. And in Baltimore, where defense is tradition, legacy, and identity, that kind of addition meant something. But now, all of that exists only in what-if scenarios. What if Alexander had stayed healthy, mentally and physically? What if he had gotten a fair chance to gel with the playbook, adjust to the Ravens' schemes, and bring his signature style to M&T Bank Stadium? What if he had become the shutdown piece that took this secondary from elite to legendary? Instead, the chapter ends before it ever really started. A few practices, a few moments of excitement, then confusion, then silence, and now, an emotional goodbye that might not be permanent, but sure feels final for now. And that's why this story hits so hard. It's not just about football, it's about potential unfulfilled. It's about a player who clearly wanted it, but just didn't have enough left in the tank to grab it, at least not right now. Jair Alexander's name may never appear in the Ravens stat sheet. He may never get announced in front of the home crowd. But for those who were watching closely, he still left a mark. His energy was real. His presence was felt. And even in the shadows of uncertainty, he reminded us that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fighting through pain. It's recognizing it, stepping back, and choosing to heal. So now, Ravens fans, if this truly is the end of the Jair Alexander experiment in Baltimore, how should we remember it? As a missed opportunity? A necessary lesson? Or the beginning of a bigger story that just hasn't reached its comeback chapter yet? Now that the dust has started to settle, it's time to look at the broader picture, and this Jair Alexander situation reveals far more than just the story of one player's unexpected exit. It's about the tightrope walk between opportunity and reality. It's about the internal battles players fight, the silent struggles that fans rarely see, and the delicate balance that teams like the Baltimore Ravens must maintain between hope and preparation. The Ravens took a chance, but not a reckless one. That's what stands out the most when you examine this whole situation. From the outside, it might have looked like Baltimore rolled the dice on a player with big upside but some uncertainty. And maybe they did. But what they didn't do was mortgage anything for it. They didn't build the defense around Jair. They didn't tie up big money in a long-term commitment. They didn't place the weight of expectations solely on his shoulders. Instead, they structured a deal that gave him room to prove himself if he was ready and protected the team if he wasn't. That's not just smart football. That's good leadership. And as we now know, Jair Alexander wasn't ready. Not physically. Not mentally. The term "get right" wasn't some vague